while most of the official Washington has been consumed with the Senate impeachment trial, another part of Washington is preparing the most far-ranging changes in America's social policy in a generation. Congress is moving ahead with Biden's American Rescue Plan, which expands health care and unemployment benefits, and it contains one of the most ambitious efforts to reduce child poverty since the New Deal. And right behind it is Joe Biden's plan for infrastructure and jobs. Um, let's see here. Hold on. The juxtaposition of Trump's impeachment trial and Biden's ambitious plan is no coincidence. Trump's acquittal has left Republicans badly fractured and on the defensive. The Republican Party is imploding. Since January 6th, growing number of Republicans have deserted it. State and the county committees are becoming wackier by the day, and the big business no longer has a home in the crackpot GOP. And all of this has created a political void into which Democrats are stepping with far-reaching reforms. They are now free to disregard conservative canards that have hobbled America's ability to respond to public needs ever since Ronald Reagan convinced the nation that big government was the problem. The first is the supposed omnipresent danger of inflation and the accompanying worry that public spending can easily overheat the economy. Which is fucking rubbish anyway, but inflation hasn't reared its head in years, and not even during the roaring job market of 2018 and 2019. Overheating may no longer even be a problem for the globalized high-tech economies, whose goods and services are so easily replaceable. But Biden's ambitious plans are worth the small risk in any event. If you hadn't fucking noticed, the American economy is becoming more unequal by the day, and bringing it to a boil may be the only way to lift the wages of the bottom half. The hope is that the record low interest rates and vast public spending generate enough demand that the employers will need to raise wages to find the workers they need. A few Democratic economists who should know better are sounding the false alarm about inflation, but Biden is wisely ignoring them, and so should the Democrats in fucking Congress. Another conservative bromide is that a larger national debt crowds out the public crowds out the private investment and slows growth. This view hamstrung the Clinton and Obama administrations as deficit hawks had warned against public spending unaccompanied by tax increases to pay for it. Unfortunately, Biden isn't buying this shit either. But 4 decades of chronic underemployment and stagnant wages have shown how important how important the public spending is for sustained growth. And not incidentally, growth reduces the debt as a share of the overall economy, but the real danger is the opposite. Fiscal austerity shrinks economies and causes national debts to grow and grow in proportion. The third canard is that generous safety nets discourage work. The Democratic presidents, going from Franklin Roosevelt to Lyndon Johnson, had sought to alleviate the poverty and economic insecurity with the broad-based relief. But after Reagan tied public assistance to racism and deriding the single mother welfare queens, the conservatives began demanding the stringent work requirements so that only the truly deserving received the help. And Bill Clinton and Barack Obama acquiesced to this nonsense, but not Biden. His proposal would not only expand jobless benefits but also provide assistance to parents who are not working, thereby extending the relief to 27 million people, which include children, including about half of all are Black and Latino children. And the Republican Senator Mitt Romney of Utah has put forward a similar plan for this. And this is just fucking common sense, but tens of millions of people are fucking hurting, and a damn record number of American children are impoverished. And according to the most recent census data, the pandemic has also caused a large number of women to drop out of the labor force in order to care for their children. And with financial help, some of them would be able to pay for childcare and move back into a paid work. After Canada enacted a national child allowance in 2006, the employment rates for mothers increased. A decade later, when Canada increased its annual child allowance, its economy added jobs. But it's still unclear exactly what form that Biden's final plans would take as they work their way through Congress. He does have the razor-thin majorities in both chambers, but in addition, most of his proposals are designed for the current emergency, and they would need to make this permanent. But the stars are now better aligned for fundamental reform than they've been since Reagan. It's no small irony that a half century after Reagan persuaded Americans that big government was the problem, But Trump's demise is finally liberating America from Reaganism and letting the richest nation on earth give its people the social support they desperately fucking need.